Really intense focus face from Kristin. I think she gets this one.
Nice.
You can't have a face like that and miss, I think.
No.
Wow. Kristin has this shot absolutely dialed. Really perfect shot. Can't draw it up better. Kristin, long look for 2. Oh my gosh. From the bog thing.
This is when she starts to get unbeatable, when she starts canning these circle 2 putts, like making them look easy.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 MVP Music City Open presented by Another Round Disc Golf. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two hot geese.
Honk.
Happy to be back in Music City and able to play the course. I'm sure you've all heard we had lightning, we had thunder, we had floods, we had tornadoes.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride this week. Not as much practice as we'd like, and the course is a little soggy. But we can trudge through today. Let's get right into it. Hole 1, it's 280 feet. A nice little par 3 to start out. It is a slight bit uphill, so you do kind of have to give this one a good pump. You do not want to miss the middle area, though, because if you're in the bushes on the left and right, sometimes you are left unable to get up to this beautiful rocky little fairy green, as we like to call it.
Yes.
It's magical in here, and what a way to start your round.
And a very significant change from last year.
Lots.
Starting out with Kristin Lott.
She's won this the last 2 years. She's already had a three-peat at Waco, looking for her second of the year. It's early April. That's crazy.
That is crazy. We did have some really windy conditions out there this morning.
The Saarinen.
It was a little bit swirly, not quite predictable. On top of the wet conditions, you're already considering standstills. We're going to see Silva doing that a lot today. She's really, really good at powerful standstill shots. And of course, at Circle 1X putting, look at that, 80%. She's 4th right now for the year in the field.
And she's a staple on our coverage this year so far. Really consistent playing from Silva. And that's a pretty common landing zone just outside the circle.
Next up to tee, give it up for Catrina Allen.
Catrina, no stranger to the Music City. I believe she lived here for a little while.
She is practicing and warming up with her daughter, like, in hand.
Really?
I followed her behind a practice round.
Awesome.
And she's, like, in between shots, like, on her walks. It's honestly beautiful.
Yeah, heartwarming.
And Catrina working with this left to right wind nicely, but it never quite swings in.
Yeah, those rocks say no.
Cadence,
Cadence, another staple on the coverage.
Believe it or not, this is her hair at its shortest length I've seen it.
She got a haircut recently. 79% Circle 1X putting, fifth place so far this year. She really started turning up the volume at the end of last year. She has a great backhand and one of the best putts in the game.
And, man, I mean, she's still young. I mean, she's a teenager. I don't know exactly how old. I would guess maybe
18, 19, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Have fun, ladies.
And a really consistent golfer. Cadence, unfortunately, with a little bounce to the right as well, similar to Catrina's. Not much to work with over here. Hopefully she has a line. A lot of times you're finding yourself just kind of laying up.
Ooh, and that also happens a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, they had this hole combined with what is now hole 16 into a really long par 4. I think this is a really great change. And we also used to have a tee pad that was over to the right that was kind of a longer Anheuser shot. But I really like this hole, especially as a starter. It's fair, but guarded. Really pretty green. I'm happy with it. Also, the ops team, big shout out. Worked, I think, tirelessly overnight, maybe. Oh, wow. Silva with a huge putt.
Yeah, just like showing why we talked about her putting stats.
Yeah, well deserved.
Immediately out the gate.
But yeah, the ops team here put in a ton of work to allow us to play today.
Yeah, the fact that the course is in any sort of condition that's playable at all is wild. The tornado warning started yesterday at 3 p.m. and went till dark. So as much as they could get done before 3 p.m. is what we're working with today, and it looks awesome.
Oh, okay. Hole 1, easy. Just touchy little circle 2 putts through the trees.
And Kristin showing us that she is not falling off the horse yet. Last week she shot the highest event rating in FPO history, a 1031 unofficial, winning at JomezPro Open. It was 2-round A tier where there were 27 holes per round.
She won by over 20, didn't she?
Yeah, won by 23 strokes.
Oh my!
In 2 rounds, and that over people that are not just a bunch of schlubs.
Right.
We're talking Rebecca Cox. We're talking
Cat Merch was there.
Cat Merch.
We're talking won that event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristin really just lighting it on fire. Cadence, unfortunately, going to start this round out with a bogey. And you see that more often than you would expect.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of people that multiple putted here. There was only 10 birdies, and almost 20% of the field bogey.
What hole do you think is going to play the easiest today?
Oh, the game.
Yeah. I have 3 options, but I'm going to...
I think the downhill little hyzer shot on the elevated basket.
7.
Yeah.
7 was in my top choice, 13, but I think I'm going to go 16.
16.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll hold 7, you do 16.
Okay, great.
Cool.
And great putts from both Kristin and Silva to go 1 down. There's lots of birdies on this course, but lots of trouble, especially in the wind. Hole 2 is a par 4, 530 feet. You have to shoot out of a gap, which isn't that difficult of a gap unless you're getting hyper aggressive to try to get the birdie. There's an OB line to the left. You can find it if you kind of hyzer out on your tee shot. Second shot is tricky. You want it to turn, but not too much, or perhaps a big forehand if you have it. There is some OB water over to the right in there, and if you just fade over there, or rather if you turn over there, there's just not a lot of scrambling you can do. This is one where a lot of us are happy with par.
So I feel like this course, I just put it together looking at the stats. It's kind of like the antithesis of the Michigan. What's the Michigan tournament?
Deglow?
Yeah. Because there, Owen won the tournament without birdieing a single par 3. She just birdied all the par 4s. Here, I think the par 3s are gettable.
Yes.
And the 4s are so hard.
I mean, I was going to agree with you just because you used the word antithesis, but I actually do agree with what you're saying.
Legitimately. Like, I realized about halfway through the round, we didn't get to practice a whole lot this week because of all the rain. The conditions were rough. And I realized halfway through the round, like, wow, I am not really getting to these par 4s without 2 of the best shots of my life.
Yes.
Then the 3s, you're like, oh, God, I got to get one here.
But the 3s, they haven't always been there. They
No.
weren't really there last year. Happy to have them back. Look at this big turning shot from Cadence.
That's really good.
Super good.
And that's what you have to do on this hole and every par 4 is really get aggressive and bite a lot off the tee shot in order to set yourself up, because most of them are a full distance drive rip to get to the green.
How
on
far
the
do you
second.
think this is?
I would say 320, but on a turn.
Yeah.
So you have to finish to the right.
Yeah, so you see this kind of play a lot where you're not getting crazy aggressive getting a circle 2 look.
It looks downhill too, but it's not. You're kind of going up
It's
and
kinda-
then back down.
Yeah. Ooh,
This is pretty.
really good shot from Catrina to get inside the
wow.
circle.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
This is definitely a course suited for distance players.
Kristin has shot 1,000 rated rounds here or better 5 times.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. And sneaking along the right side there. I believe the wind, do you remember the wind here? I wrote
It
down
was
somewhere.
left to right.
Yeah.
I believe.
So it was kind of pushing into that little grouping of trees.
A little bit of a headwind sometimes as well. One thing, in these Tennessee hills, there is a lot of swirling happening on. Wind coming from all different directions. There's lines of trees, and then there's suddenly not lines of trees. So you do kind of have those blind winds halfway down, as they are.
The old blind wind.
Yep, the invisible wind, if you will.
I will. Cadence with a nice turning shot. She'll have maybe a tricky putt from in there, but it's well done. Wow. Great effort from Kristin from about 45 feet or so.
Only 4 players got to circle 1 in regulation, so we saw a lot of circle 2 putts if we saw a look at all.
Yeah. I watched Henna Bloomerus on my card absolutely park it on the
Wow.
second. It was one of the prettiest shots I've seen.
She was the only one.
Yeah. Not surprising. It's a left to right moving shot.
Oh, yeah, her specialty. Probably a standstill, too.
It was not.
It was not.
Okay. It was a big shot. Cadence giving it a really good effort and getting a pretty brutal roll to
Oh,
a horrible
man.
spot. Looks like she has a gap from about 27 feet or so.
All right, Cadence, your putt's warmed up. You've gotten a few of them on holes 1 and 2.
She's just going to squelch away and
Yeah,
come back later.
shake it off.
Every step out there was just like,
Squidward.
yeah.
For all you SpongeBob heads. There were only 6 birdies on hole 2. It's you feel proud if you get this one.
Yeah, really solid play from Catrina. A little tester putt. Looking good. Cadence starting bogey. But I don't. Even par is going to play pretty decent today.
Another, just general course condition, besides it being a little soupy out there, it was extremely hot.
Oh my gosh.
Uncharacteristically hot compared to the rest of the week and the year so far.
And the UV index was really high.
Yes.
So I suddenly have a farmer's tan that didn't exist yesterday.
Yeah, we're all looking very tan. And we were all sweating. It was like a sauna out there. The ground was just emanating moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, what's up guys? It's Paul. I'm here to tell you that today's video is sponsored by Vessi. Some of my favorite features that Vessi gives you is they are waterproof, not water resistant, waterproof. Big difference there, keep your foot completely dry. Of course, when you find a shoe, you want comfort. That's exactly what Vessi gives you. It's the most comfortable shoe that I've ever played in. When we're playing on the tour, we're playing a lot of rounds. We're covering a lot of ground. So you need to make sure that you have a comfortable shoe, and that's exactly what Vessi gives you. So you have comfort, they're also waterproof, but the most important part about having a great shoe on tour is the grip. These work well on concrete, turf, fairway, bad situations, best grip that I've ever had as far as a shoe goes. I started wearing Vessi Stormburst this year. I absolutely fell in love with them. You can get them in the high top, the low top. Like I said already, that the grip is fantastic and they look pretty cool too. If you want to give Vessi a shot, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to vessi.com/JomezPro. That's vessi.com/JomezPro for 15% off.
Here we are on hole 3, another very long and difficult par 4 at 550 feet. On paper, it looks easy, but this first shot is very demanding and can get you into some tricky situations. If you filter left or right at that tree-lined gap, it can be very difficult to save your par. The second shot, if you make it through the gap, is more straightforward. Still, that one big guardian tree does get in your head, and you find players regularly going a little bit too straight or a little bit too short and ending up in yet another big patch of very dense rough.
Holland Hanley absolutely crushing this one. The winner of the Open at Austin last week and the leader of Disc Golf Pro Tour points. I was just looking at those stats.
Holland was on my card. This was insane. It was going through that gap on a turn. It was unbelievable. I just watched Kona crush one through, and I was like, no one can do it better. And then Holland was like,
did it 30% better?
Yeah, and then she hits that guardian tree. It really does get in your head. She's here in circle 2.
Where she lives.
Yep.
She owns circle 2.
Yeah, the putt's been looking great for Holland Hanley. No different today. One of only 9 birdies on hole 3. This shot is very steep uphill. You couldn't quite feel the wind at the tee pad, but it was a headwind.
Catrina kind of working the left side of the gap. She does squeak through. That's a great play. I personally like to kind of push the right side. There's a little bit more room over there if you kind of, error and catch a right side tree. The left side can
only
be
a little bit
horrible. I mean, there's like real gaps. The left side's a wall. Obviously, though, it'd be nice just to get through. Wow.
Oh,
wow.
My God.
Like that.
Just a foot off the ground, screaming.
Screaming orbit grace
Yeah.
into the void.
Was a lot of power. At this point, it was in my head a little bit, and we were chatting about it on my card, but we're a little worried about the tee pads, everything being so wet and saturated, but they were holding up at this
I was
point.
surprised.
Yeah, and it was impossible not to get on the tee pad with really muddy feet. So, yeah, it's definitely in everyone's head if you see people kind of looking like they're under-committing. Cadence, though, that was on purpose. I like this play of laying up to the gap instead of getting tangled up.
Also, if you see anyone walking gingerly, they're probably not injured. They're just squelching away.
Yeah, just in a puddle.
Cadence, this is a big shot, but she can get there. It's kind of nice, just a hyzer. And...
Well done.
Ooh, that's great. Either side of that gap is dense.
Silva just going to opt for a standstill here. This little divot in the middle of this, it does steep. It does drop pretty steeply downwards.
Sure does.
Sets up for some funny footing.
Funny something. Wow, park job from Silva. Nothing funny about that.
Silva, the only player of the day to park this hole.
Catrina with a fantastic tee shot. I almost prefer, though, what Silva and Cadence had, to throw the hyzer. This straight shot is challenging.
It sure is. And the wind was all over the place. Here you can see Catrina testing it. It was switching between kind of like a left to right headwind and then a right to left, just straight crosswind. Right now, Kristin dealing with that right to left.
It looked almost like a headwind when Catrina just threw the grass in the air, too. So
and even like left to right. It was like switching 180 degrees.
Whoa. That one just looked like a grip lock. And an uncharacteristic mistake.
We don't see Kristin doing a lot of standstills, do we?
Gonna put me on the spot, huh?
We watch enough.
I mean, just because we watch every week, you think I know the answer to that?
Yeah, I don't think she does.
She usually has a run up. And I don't know, that's really far.
Yeah.
You know when you like accidentally, or maybe you just crush one in a tournament and it's like, oh, I'm closer than I've ever been.
Yep.
But it's a strange miss from her.
Yeah, she did throw that tee shot so far.
Oh, boy.
Catrina trying to throw the forehand roller. It doesn't quite get the turn. It's rough terrain out there this week to try to roll anything.
This is brutal.
So, yeah, speaking of rough terrain, that thing filtered deep into this tree.
A good out.
Yeah, great recovery just outside the bullseye for par.
Catrina looking to save par from about 40 feet. She's in a straddle, definitely a little obstructed, maybe slightly uphill. Good power on it, just a little low left.
This was the most birdied par 4 with only 9 birdies.
Oh.
Yep. Yep.
Cadence, okay, I would love to go back. Honestly, okay, if you're home, oh, here we go. Look at this branch in her face. Oh, dang it. Did you see it? It was like fully tickling her face as she went down before she putted. And like you could tell she wasn't thinking about it at all. But rewind at home, please.
Catrina with a tester putt for 5.
Good for it. And this is right when, the oven, I think, had preheated. And the sun comes out, and it is hot out there.
You don't really want the wind, but you were like kind of hoping for it today.
It cooled you off.
For sure. Every time I'd be like, just take a moment, close my eyes. Thank you.
And what a birdie from Silva. That second shot was unreal.
So we're going to jump into a tie for second place. Natalie Ryan 1 stroke ahead at 3 down through 3. What a start after a
Hey,
long break.
Yeah, and Haiti line a 2 down as well. Hole 4 is a par 4, 675 feet. The same as last year for the most part, at least on the tee shot. A backhand works. I like a forehand personally off the tee. This second shot, infinitely harder. They brought in this left side OB line so much tighter. Like, what, 50 feet tighter? Probably more? A lot of feet. It makes it so it's a really full power second shot with a pretty narrow pinch point kind of right at the landing zone. Also, the wind was happening out here. I believe
Straight
it was,
headwind.
yeah. Mhm.
This hole in practice was so easy to me.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, in calm conditions, you can kind of throw whatever you want. You can throw a mid, a fairway, a distance driver. But the story of the hole is throwing to one pinched little landing zone and then another pinched landing zone. They
Yeah.
are you're trying to land in the smallest parts of the fairway.
Both times.
Yep, Silva showing us here. But with a headwind,
Yeah.
infinitely
Good luck.
harder.
And the worst place you can land is kind of that tree sticking out on the right over there because the OB line is on it and then your second shot is blocked. So you really don't want to flip it too hard. Cadence trying to go under the wind. It turns and burns very early. And this is why I think the hole is exceedingly hard because she probably should just lay up from there, leaving a very difficult third.
It isn't one of those holes that you can take some off and play conservative.
Yeah.
It basically baits you into throwing a second very difficult shot just to get a par.
Yeah. That's why I like the forehand, though. Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little bit safer. And you don't get quite as far, but it's far enough.
Catrina really trying to avoid that right side. She's hyzer flipping up the left and does a nice job of checking up right before the OB.
Just a bit shorter than you'd like to land, though. Cadence up first.
And she's every bit of 400 feet to the green right now, maybe more.
She's going for it, really trusting this disc. She's really good at putting a lot of turn on her discs, and that is phenomenal.
That's as good as you can do it.
It's better than I could do it. Catrina, I think maybe working the right side on more of a hyzer is my guess. Yeah, great trust here.
The wind a little calmer here than when my card came through. It was like
It was
ripping.
nuts when I came through as well. But, you know, they're going to pay for it somewhere else.
Yes, they are.
And Kristin with a great tee shot, probably
There's the wind.
330 something feet away from here.
Really trusting her distance, getting well over that OB. That tree catches a lot of discs.
Sure does.
On the heat map, that thing is bright red.
Almost on fire.
Silva so far down here. Like,
That-
this is incredible.
That's the farthest tee shot I've seen, actually.
Me too.
And it looks like she's going to work the right side on a hyzer. She really swings that out wide. It needs to come back. And it does. Great
Wow.
shot.
So good.
Yeah, I thought for a sec she was going to go little Anheuser
Oh,
around the other side.
This plate is the most difficult hole of the day.
Yeah.
We really talked it up. It's
we were
hard.
right. A
Yeah.
lot of times we do that, and then everyone plays it better than
It's like
we're
the
saying.
middle of the pack.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel justified.
Nice little approach shot from Catrina, trying to nestle it up to this elevated pin. You don't want to mess around in the wind. Only 2 people got to circle 1 in regulation. Silva, one of those. 7 people got to circle 2 in regulation. I believe Kristin is one of those.
Cadence with a spinny little jump putt approach puts it to about 20 feet. She doesn't look happy with it.
A little bit of a half-hearted run for Kristin. A little safe bid. Let's see if Silva can get a birdie here.
Sure can.
One of only 2 birdies today. The other from Holland Hanley. She was on my card. She had to make a little bit of a putt.
Is that 45 feet? I don't know what a little bit is to
You know,
Holland.
like 20.
Okay. Cadence with a little tester here. Gets it in. That's a nice par after kind of a short tee shot.
Yeah, over half the field taking a bogey or worse on this one. I think it was mostly the wind. It's a hard hole.
You're right,
Add a
though.
headwind.
It's not so bad without the wind, but I kind of want to look it up from last year because it was not nearly so difficult.
Yeah, that OB line.
Kristin, the only one on our feature card, under par currently. Except for Silva, who's also under par even more than her.
Silva in the current tie for the lead.
All right, I'm up.
I haven't owned an electric guitar ever, so now I'm like extra double soaked. And now I need an amp.
Hole 5, another par 3, and you are really hoping to get yourself a putt on this one. I love this hole. It's very steep downhill. You can, oh, I'm on the wrong hole.
Do you love this hole?
I do love this hole too. This is excellent if you have a forehand, a lot of room out to the left side that you can chip a 350-foot downhill forehand, something that everyone in the FPO should have. There is a right side gap that's kind of a sucker gap, but you can take it. It's big enough. But the OB line all the way down the right side really keeps you from wanting to take that gap. Is Silva lining it up?
She is, and this is why a lot of people don't. She actually gets away with it surprisingly fine for hitting the right side so early. This is what you see more of even from the backhand throwers. It's hard to get inside the circle, but possible. It was a left to right wind, I believe, here.
Left to right tailwind.
Yeah, so kind of helping. Oh, Cadence reads it pretty well, and that's a solid shot.
It's a tricky little backhand because even though there is room, there's no OB all the way at the bottom of the hill. You just have to turn right so late in the flight.
It really is made for a forehand, though. Kristin demonstrating that, making it look simple. The left to right, though, you wanted to be careful, not throw it on too much of a hyzer. Give it some width and let the wind push it.
Like this little
Catrina.
hyzer flip from Catrina.
Flipping it up. Great shot.
Doing a little dance on Kristin's disc.
Take that. Splashing it with some mud. Silva lined up to this little tunnel here. Madison thinks she's a sucker. It's a dangerous gap with that OB there.
It sure is. Silva recovering nicely, though, with some friendly little tree bounces as well. Here's Cadence with a circle 2 putt for birdie.
She threw a forge function off the tee.
This is a super common landing zone.
Yeah. Cadence just a little off on some of these longer putts, but I'm sure we'll see her hit some later in the round.
I was in that exact spot. It was really hard to push off your back foot there because it was so muddy.
Sure.
I did the same thing, kind of armed it.
Kristin in for another birdie.
Over a quarter of the field birdieing this hole. One of the few that played under par for the day. There was only a handful.
Wow, okay, so I thought this course played pretty dang hard. And so I was looking up the, like last year, I was looking at the best score. And I think Kristin shot a 7 down. Holland shot a 7 down round 1. Kristin did in round 2, which like, I think is playing several strokes easier this year. Those are unbelievable scores. I wonder if anyone will be able to push double digits here. I'd be surprised.
In calm conditions, yeah, but with the weather week we're looking at, Silva with a really strong start though, holding on to that 3 down. Another nice birdie from Catrina Allen.
Another par 4 here on the 621 feet. This can be a tricky tee shot. I believe it was a right to left wind also, so kind of pushing you into that creek, which is casual but very mean. You do not want to be in there. OB line on the right, though, can make it tough to challenge that right side. The tree off the tee also just kind of a tricky tee shot, but if you get out in the open, the second shot's pretty fair. It's a tunnel. But the left side is all in bounds. The right side is out of bounds, but it's kind of nice for the right-handed player to just throw like a little gentle hyzer, and you can usually get a putt for birdie, but it's all about this tee shot.
Yeah, a little bit of a headwind here, but definitely right to left as you get around this corner. You can see that disc just getting carried.
Into the creek. Yeah, I was top on this one, which is a term I've been using exclusively since I learned it last week. Top of the box. And thank you, Madison.
Who taught you that?
Really smart goose. Smartest goose I know.
Oh my God, look at that wind.
Yeah, being the wind dummy on this one was rough. Because it felt like a headwind. And then I was like, oh, it'll turn. And then it got out into the open and got pushed in the creek so hard.
Look at that little smooth shot from Silva, really trusting that disc. Pushing towards the OB line, but fine.
Yeah, I think it is a little harder personally to approach from that side because you have to throw more of a straight or even a turning shot.
Even though Cadence is a little shorter than everyone else, it's a fine spot to be. It sets up really nicely for a pretty simple hyzer. You can even go distance driver here if you want. You see a lot more fairways and mids on this second shot.
That looks perfect.
Oh, yeah.
She might have landed in the 1 foot creek that's there, but it is casual. It's a great shot.
Catrina lined up nicely to the gap as well, way down the fairway. You don't necessarily need your disc to crash in here. You just kind of want it to gently fade. As you get up to the green, it's definitely way more just straight right to left, so it will push your disc a little.
Beautiful upshot from Catrina. It really is. It's easy to make it crash a little bit too much into that left side. Kristin, so far that she's almost into another fairway. She's kind of on the opposite side of this creek. It's so thorny over there too. Look, you can see some.
Not a lot of gaps to get back out in the fairway. She's just kind of pitching out, not trying to make any forward progress.
Well done. Sometimes you see people take 2 shots to get out. Silva, after a big drive.
And she is going to have to kind of flex one or throw it dead straight.
She's so far, though. She can throw a slow speed disc, but she does overturn it. And she's going to get away with it. About 50 feet away or so.
And I think this is a really great FPO hole.
Me too.
I really like it. I think it's well designed.
Yeah, we used to play from the MPOT, and it was way too hard.
Yep.
Love this change. It's a good hole.
It did still score very difficult today, though, with that challenging wind off the tee. It's really easy to go OB, and once you get one, they stack up. Silva knew out of her hand that that one wasn't going to make it there. Got a little elevator action. This played as the 4th most difficult hole of the day.
Catrina for birdie.
Nice.
Smooth putt. 2 in a row.
Catrina, one of 9 birdies on hole 6.
She did find it. And she is going to play that as casual, mark it behind. Great birdie from Cadence. Gets back to even par. Every time Cadence picks up her dish, she like, you can tell they're so wet. Like,
Silva with a really great tee shot, but not quite able to get the birdie here.
and a great recovery from Kristin. Really nice forehand upshot with that harp.
Yeah, excellent scrambling. As we take a long walk to hole 7, check in with these scores. Katie Line now in a tie for first with Silva Saarinen, coming fresh off that ACL injury.
BlackInkDiscs.com is the premier disc golf store. Exclusive custom stamps on your favorite discs. The Wolf is now available on your favorite MVP and Axiom molds. Love what you throw? BlackInkDiscs.com. Shop with us now.
And here it is, hole 7. A par 3 at 335 feet. This is the one I picked as the easiest hole of the day. I think it's a fun hole. We didn't have a challenging wind today either. It was a little bit of a left to right, but kind of blocked by these trees on the left side. There is an out of bounds line to the left and deep of this elevated pin, but there's plenty of room out wide right to make sure you don't flare skip into that out of bounds. A very fun par 3, completely blind, but you Just aim at that little golden tree that you see Catrina pointing at right now and trust your disc to hyzer out.
Wow, that's all I'm going to hear when I'm on the tee pad tomorrow. The golden tree.
Just the golden tree.
Aim at the golden tree. Which is where I aim. I just never called it that, but I will now. Catrina with a pretty perfect shot. A little bit of a scary putt. It was mostly left to right, but can be kind of a headwind on that green. Was this elevated last year as well? Do you remember?
I do not.
It is possibly newly elevated. Oh, wow. Great shot, Cadence, with a Horizon FD1.
Yeah, and she's going to get to putt back up at the basket away from the out of bounds.
And pretty strong left to right based on Kristin's skirt, which I believe is an outfit that she's designed herself. Like she has a new clothing line coming out.
Ooh.
Have you seen this?
Sweet. Go
Oh.
support. Oh. Oh, wow. She's going to have to deal with some of those cedar branches, but she is safe. Yeah, if you're looking for new fits, go support our FPO players.
Yeah, I know that I'm not exactly right, but I am close to being right about what she's doing. And Silva, yeah, doesn't like it out of her hand, hyzering too much, and gonna challenge that OB.
Oh my gosh, another one right on the line.
Wow, in by an inch.
She is pretty deep in circle 2.
You got to be careful here. This can cause some rollaways if you're putting up at this basket towards the out of bounds. So I like to land like kind of short right of the pin from the tee. Oh, good bid.
Literally tickled the chains. So close.
Like this is a scary putt, but if you hit low, you're generally not going to roll away. Come on. Okay.
So this did not play as the easiest hole of the day.
Okay. I was going to pick this one, but it being blind and a little windy makes it a little bit tough. Kristin for a birdie. Tickle some chains. Did it play under par?
Yes, it did. One of the few to play under par. Ooh, but the easiest hole of the day is not what I was expecting. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, save it. Cadence in for another birdie, 2 in a row now, under par.
Cadence, one of 15 competitors. We had 37 out of 48 getting to at least circle 2, 20 getting to circle 1, but this elevated pin in the wind makes it a little rough. Only 15 able to convert. And to touch again on Haiti Line, I played with her at Austin the 3rd round, and she stepped off an elevated drop zone and her knee collapsed. She's coming off an ACL injury in the off season and rehabbing it and trying to forego surgery. So we were thinking about her in this off week, and she's back out here competing today and leading the field.
And shredding, yeah. Pretty cool. Now our entire feature card under par. That's a real fact. And a 3-way tie for first, including Silva Saarinen on our card. Hole 8, a par 4, 677 feet. I believe the same as last year. You go through this gap here. It's, shooting over OB. It can be tough. You got to put your disc up high. It's hard to be aggressive. Even if you get a huge tee shot, there's kind of a wall here blocking the second shot. There's a couple gaps. We're flying through the safest gap. There is one on the left side too, but there's OB over there. If you land OB off the tee, it's a mandatory drop zone, whether you're short or deep. I think most women may be taking a little off, making sure they're inbounds, hopefully with some good footing by pushing straighter rather than hyzering out, and just taking the par here. This is an exceedingly difficult birdie.
Yeah, this is the second most difficult hole of the day. I would have guessed that this one would have been the most difficult hole of the day. I think just the wind is what made that hole, what was that, hole 6 play so difficult. But this one was just barely less difficult. That one averaged at 1 stroke over par. I'm almost 1 stroke over par. This one 2/100ths of a stroke less. So
2/25.
2/25.
380 seconds.
Anyways,
And some good looking tee shots here.
yes.
The wind here, I believe, when I came through, is like kind of head
right to
left.
Yeah, which was weird because on the last hole was left to right, and
Right.
they're the same plane.
I'm glad you said it too, because
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Was like, well,
Doesn't make sense.
that's what's happening.
Yep.
Nice shot.
And this is kind of a simple tee shot, just as long as you get over those trees. But this second shot, like Erika said, there's not really one good place to go. Like she said, the right gap is safer, but you see so many tee shots filter behind this wall, and then your approach shot is a kind of a guessing game.
Yeah. Wherever you land, you want to be way to one side or the other, not in the middle, which is not what we're trained to do.
Yes.
We're trained to do this. I wonder if that's Cadence's play, like just try to punch through.
I kind of like that, because if you're close to those trees, you can find something. It's being like 12 feet back from them where it gets rough.
Silva way up here, going to go right side.
Really nice commitment to that. The right to left crosswind on the second shot kind of forced your disc to want to filter towards the wall.
And these are great tee shots, and they aren't even coming close to circle 2. Just showing how difficult this hole is. Kristin getting caught up, really good power on that one. It was definitely headed towards the pin.
Kind of a friendly little kick. At
Yeah.
least it kicked to the right. Here's Catrina dealing with some funny little gaps. She does have one nice little hyzer approach shot, though.
Ooh, too low, and catches a log. No way. Okay, I thought she made it for a second. Really nice line from Kristin with the harp.
Only 2 competitors managed to get to circle 2 in regulation. No one managed to get to circle 1, and that's not surprising at all.
Yeah.
This even though we do have a shorter tee pad, this hole it's not great for FPO. I guess it's fine to have one hard par 4 here and there, but this one, I feel like they're all hard par 4s.
This is the only one that feels kind of unbirdieable.
Yeah, it feels like overlooked.
But I usually I don't like holes like that, and I don't mind this one.
I really don't like it. It's my least favorite. There was one birdie today.
Oh.
Yeah, Paige Pierce.
Circle 2 or throw in?
Had to have been from circle 2. No one got to circle 1 in regulation.
Yeah. Cool.
Might have been a throw in. Doesn't say.
Use your imagination. Either way, it was cool. Nice par save putt from Cadence. Really spinning it in there. Kind of at mostly a headwind, I'd imagine, from that angle. 5 going to be a pretty common score on this one. I'd imagine there was some bigger numbers as well.
Yeah, 39% of the field with a bogey, 22% with a double or worse. Yeah. I just don't like this one.
I don't like it. I just don't totally hate it. It's fine.
Yeah.
They've had worse ones.
Yeah. Yeah, the design, the redesign out here is really nice.
I think it's playing well for FPO.
Yeah, I agree. For the park style golf that I don't love, I think it's great.
I think, we could use a few more birdies, but we always could.
And let's wrap up this front 9 with this difficult par 4. The tee shot's very fun. You have a little gap you have to shoot through. It's a little bit uphill on a side slope. I believe it was a right to left wind, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Maybe slight headwind.
Yeah, you want to get big distance because this second shot is so challenging. If you have a distant sidearm, that is the play, but it's got to be a distant sidearm.
Huge one.
It's far. If you error short, there's some out of bounds on the right side that is absolutely brutal to recover from. And if you error left, it's a lot more open and easy to recover, but still, an instant bogey.
This is a great shot from Cadence. The right to left wind made it so tricky and was kind of just pushing disc towards that OB line left. Ah, they make it look so easy.
So far. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
This tee shot's fun.
Yeah, I like it too. But I'd imagine there's very few women getting inside the circle for a birdie.
Yeah.
Probably some solid circle 2 looks, though.
Yeah, 17 players got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 6 got to circle 1 in regulation. This actually played as the 3rd most difficult hole of the day. That kind of surprises me, but
I don't know. They're hard par 4s.
Yeah, and that OB pinching on the second half of the hole makes your second shot so risky if you're trying to go big.
It looks like Catrina had a slip on the tee pad, and she's going to find OB pretty early. I think probably looking at a bogey from there.
Yeah. Oh, man, the footing's bad, too. Straight uphill.
Again, dealing with that largely right to left wind. She's going to hang it out to the right, let it hyzer.
There's so many nice yellow flowers everywhere on the whole course. It's so pretty.
There's also so many kites in trees. Apparently once a month they have like a big kite flying get together, which I'm going to think of a fun name for if it doesn't exist already. Wow, look at this shot.
Oh, man, that's so good. Sneaks through those right side trees.
It is a puddle where she landed, though. I know firsthand. Cadence. Man, I love the way she throws these turning shots. It does turn a little bit too much, but she's way up there. It should be an easy par. And Kristin going to show us the sidearm. Really takes a lot of power, as Madison said, which she has.
Wow.
Fantastic. It's, I think, just inside the circle.
Wait, are those right side trees that Cadence squeaked through out of bounds?
Not until you can see the line going into it. The first part is not.
Okay.
Which I think it used to be.
That's what I thought, too.
I like that you can scramble from in there.
Me too. Here's Silva with a long jump putt style approach. One tree in the way.
About 75 feet. She's going to hang it out to the right and land.
So much spin on that disc.
Yeah.
Cadence forced to go underneath some of these branches. And this is pretty typical on this hole, having a long, difficult approach for par.
Her hands are so muddy.
Yeah. Here's Kristin with a rare birdie look.
Little uncomfortable in this wide straddle up the hill.
Yeah, most discs end up on that left side of the green if you do attack, and there's just not a lot of putting over there. There's just those little sticky trees. There's just not many opportunities.
Maybe too much putting because you hit a lot of those trees.
That is
Have
the
to
truth.
Keep going.
There was 4 birdies on this hole today. I'm going to shout them out because, heck yeah. Jessica Weiss, Taylor Kochek, Jennifer Allen, and Kelly Foster with a throw-in, it looks like.
Yeah, a good get. Man, it really is the antithesis of D-Glow out here.
Yeah.
It's just been going through my head. And it looks like everyone just cleaning up their par so far. Catrina with that OBT shot. Gonna take the bogey. As good as she could get after that.
Yeah, really nice recovery.
But gonna finish the round even par, or the front 9, excuse me, after a couple bogeys.
Everyone else on our feature card finishing under par. What a feat out here. There's only a tie for 4th. Everyone in that tie is under par.
Silva leading the way with 3 down. Always cool when the feature card, really features it up here.
Yeah, and look at all these ties. Not a ton of scoring separation out here at this course. Even though we both agree the redesign is really great, it's just there's not a ton of scoring happening, especially with the squelchy ground.
Especially.
But we do have 9 more holes. It doesn't get any easier, but there are some birdie holes.
Does it get harder, though?
I don't know. I think this middle part is the hardest part.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like 8 through 11, you're like grinding.
It's a grind. Yeah, for sure.
So come hang with us on the back 9 at the Music City Open. Round 1, I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're your 2 hot geeks.
Aw.